round 5 lap guide here. Fuji Speedway in Japan. Great views here, great track. Weather god has been kind to everyone and thrown you a bit of wet weather as well. But we'll jump on board, do the dry lap first, and then I won't talk through a wet lap, but I'll just add a wet lap onto the end, just so you can see the lines there as well. So let's hop on board and away we go. So I've chosen the mighty Corvette this week. So probably Mercedes next week or whatever, but team owners, send me up, let me know if you want to be next. So coming into turn 1, this is equal conditions, race 1 conditions, so quali should be roughly like this. So you're looking between the 150 and 100 meter boards on the left there, so about the 125. On the brakes hard, using all the track limits, getting tucked down in the first, shifting up around the apex. Can use a little bit more curve there if you want. Getting that extra rotation with the gears. On third gear, just be careful of that curve out to the left. Can cause a few traction issues for certain cars. So coming up here, it's different approaches here, but I like to go about the 75 meter area, just lightly trailing on the brake and more so gliding the car through. So just a little dab of the brakes, using all the track limits there. And then another corner where you can take different lines, so people like to drift out a little bit wider, tuck it in later, kind of like a late apex. Some people like to hug the corner, so just be careful when you're racing here, not to take anyone out. So drift slightly out, crack it down a gear, then back up a gear to get that rotation. On the throttle as early as possible, using all the track width. Again, some people could already be at car's width to the right, depending on their line through the previous corner. And I'm looking for kind of the end of this curb on the left, or just before the 50 meter board on the right. Hard on the brakes, then trailing off, getting tucked into the apex, and then helping with the traction of this car, in particular the Corvette, getting into second gear, and then opening up the steering angle as much as possible to help relieve that stress on the rear tyres. All the limits. Coming down the hill. So this Dunlop sign here is roughly where you're going to brake, so about here. So fully on the brake, get right down, get it as right as possible, don't run deep there, you can lose a lot of time. And then getting up, using second to get that rotation, up the hill, keeping the car straight, keeping control. So the little dab of the brakes here starts when this curbing on the left, the green AstroTurfy stuff, starts there. So just a little dab of the brakes, just to get that front nose tucked in. Bring it on the throttle, watch the throttle control through here, especially this lap and the wet lap. This sector is all about dancing on the throttle and the brake, so about full throttle all the way, not until about here. Again, another issue with traction out on the left, so don't try and abuse this curb, so it can unsettle a few cars. Third, fourth, then down to third and second, letting the car drift out wide, opening up this corner as much as possible. And then just bringing on the throttle, beware of your traction. Again, common theme for Fuji is the slightly different lines people can take. Some people can go a bit narrow here, some people you see will drift right out to the left up here, opening up that last corner as much as possible. I tend to drift, so following, see the rubbered in tied lines here you can see. Getting it in the first and up in the second, so you're not losing time on entry, but you're not losing too much time by the end of the straight either. And yeah, just running it right out to the curbing on the left. There we have it for a lap in the dry. So that was a 38.4. Probably a few more tenths in there depending on what you're doing. So stand by now for the track, the lap where I'm not talking, and then followed up. There'll be just a full race R08, I believe the weather setting is, showing the lines for the wet. But I'll just say quickly, the wet lines basically are, one car width wider inside or outside of the dry line is the general consensus there, so that's how you should be taking it. Alright, I'll go back and do the lap without me talking. Cheers.